Looks like we made it. Another Friday, baby. Journeyman back in the building. Gotta make sure I'm taking in my electrolytes. Let's talk about it. Your boy almost quit today in the water. Mentally, it broke me. It absolutely broke me. And getting a call. Don't care because I called you earlier and you didn't answer. So, I almost got broken in the water today, like mentally. I think I quit in the water, but I just kept swimming. And there's a lesson in that, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So, let's backtrack a little bit. What happened leading up to that, I think? Why was I getting to the point where I wanted to those thoughts even crept into the mind? Because that's important too. If you can mitigate those thoughts, it's going to be a lot easier, right? So, probably the last 3 weeks, have been some of the hardest structured training I've ever done, period. They were 170 plus heart rate training rides on the bike, or a combination of those, and then very hard swims in the water, and not hard runs, but very hard bikes and very hard swims, basically. And that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow for my body, I guess, still. So we've been doing that 3 weeks, and then Mount Lemmon, which is, Mount Lemmon. I don't need to talk about that. It's just Mount Lemmon. It's terrible, still. And fatigue has been like slowly. It hasn't like peaked all the way, but it's been slowly ratcheting up to the top of the mountain, like one of those old school roller coasters. So I think that your boy almost fell off the roller coaster earlier in the water, because the amount of anxiety I felt going to the pool this morning, because I just was so incredibly freaking tired. I was just wore out. Everyone thinks like, yeah, like you're supposed to be, you want to be a pro athlete and you're just always positive and blah, 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 and you're always just on top of it. Normally I am. Normally I don't need other outside influences to motivate me, ever. Like 99.9% of the time, I'm self-motivated. And I self-motivated myself today, but I was talking to my wife, telling her my pity party, and essentially I ended the conversation with, you can't be the man of the household and act like a pussy. To that she said, and I kind of took that and ran with it. So, I know what that means. That means, sweetheart, in her cute Colombian voice, sweetheart, you know what you gotta do. But my voice, it's like, man the fuck up, basically. So normally I don't even need to get to that point. But it was there, and it's important to acknowledge that, because normally I don't get to that point of, like I just said, like it's all the past trauma and shit I've ever went through came up in that water today. Which is good. It's great. It's a great lesson to learn, because when you're tired and when you're sucking and you just have the worst thoughts about yourself and there's no point of doing this, and you've been swimming for 1.5 years and you can't even break 120 yet per 100, what do you like? This is ridiculous. Your RPE right now, rate or perceived effort, is 10 out of 10, and I feel like I'm about to drown. And if I just stop swimming, all of these people that's ever doubted me are right, and I can't give them that. And everyone, or all the people that's ever just talked shit to me, would be accurate, and that would be right. And all that stuff went through my head when I was swimming. All of it. So the set that physically and mentally broke me was the 1,200 meters, which is, woo, that was far for me. That's normally not far, but for your boy, I'm tired and I've been training hard. 1,200 meters felt like an eternity in one set. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because my fatigue is super high right now, but just pity party. And it's important to realize, it's important to catch your thoughts, because 200 meters into this 1,200 meter set, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like, I'm satisfied. I'm good. Don't need to do it. Like, I'm working too hard right now. And then I realized that I started having these thoughts, like, what if I just stop swimming right now and get up and just leave? Then what? And I'm still swimming while I'm thinking this. Just all I can hear is my elbow just hitting the water while I'm thinking this. You suck, Christian. Why are you doing this? You hadn't been swimming that long. This water's too hot. My body kind of feels weird. And I realized that I was not willing to give those haters a little bit of motivation to just talk shit to me. Not talk shit because they're going to talk shit, but talk shit and be right about my potential. And that's the important thing that I realized, that my thoughts are not my identity, right? You have yourself, you have like your emotional intelligence filter, and then you have your fucking, like, what do you choose, your consciousness, what do you choose to take from these thoughts based on your filter? So if your filter is only about this big and it has like 3 or 4 words to describe your emotional status, like I am upset, I am mad, I am discouraged, I am depressed. If you just have those 4, instead of understanding that your filter is only limited by your vocabulary and emotional intelligence, right? So I caught that. I caught these thoughts about 200 meters in, saying that you suck, blah, 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 you're not gonna be anything, there's no point in swimming, you just absolutely suck. But about, I made it through to 500 meters still swimming, still going at it, and despite all the thoughts coming and going constantly, 500 meters, I really realized I was not even close. I was 100 meters away, which felt like an eternity to me again, to being halfway of the set. So that was the biggest mind fuck ever for me. And it's normally not. 1,200 meters is not hard. It's pedestrian, seriously. But for me, it was hard. So I told myself while I was swimming, if I could let's just make it to 600 meters. And then I know for a fact I'll get pumped up, because guess what, motherfuckers? I'm still here. I still made it to 600, right? I made it to the halfway point, and if I was gonna give up, it would have been before the halfway point. You don't give up after the halfway, you're already there, right? So I get to the 600, and I'm like, guess who's still motherfucking here, baby? Guess who's still here? I haven't quit yet. So let me just make it to 650, okay? All right, let's make it to 7. All right, that became really hard. Let's make it to 725 then. All right, I'm still swimming continuously. I'm not stopping. I'm just telling myself, like, okay, let me just make it to the next wall. Let me just make it to the next wall. Let me just make it to the next wall. And that's important, because not every day is gonna be your day at all, period. I don't care what anyone says. You can be the most motivated, driven person ever. But when you have a shit day, you choose, like, your thoughts, 18 minutes and 49 seconds was the total time of that interval. That was 134 per 100. And I almost let the satisfaction of finishing that, going through all those negative thoughts, going through the positive, then the negative, then the positive, then the negative, I almost didn't allow myself to feel the satisfaction of overcoming that. I almost didn't, because I was identifying with my thoughts for a second instead of breaking it down. And that's important, and I know this. When I say break it down, I refer back to like when you're going through something that's hard, no matter the distance or the duration or whatever it is. It's so important to be able to make your world very, very, very small and just focus on the very present moment. And that's why I love swimming, and I hate it at the same time, but I love it because it forces you to stay in the present moment. Because you can't breathe water, obviously. So what I mean by that is, dude, you gotta break that 1,200 meters down. You gotta break that motherfucker down to 25 meters if you have to, half a length, half a stroke, whatever it takes. But quitting is not an option. And I realized that, and I've always realized that since a long time ago. I've made this decision a long time ago that I wasn't gonna quit no matter how I felt, no matter how much. I wasn't gonna give up on a workout, because that means if I give up on a workout, I might as well just stop training, period. You can always go and do more, and if you can't, then at least you showed up. But I almost let those 18 minutes and 49 seconds dictate the rest of my life, and that is not how you fucking live, Journeyman. Yeah, I just called myself by my nickname. Cool. My self-proclaimed nickname at that. That's how much of a loser I am. So, lesson of the day. Be able to realize that your thoughts are not your identity. Your thoughts are gonna come and go. You can't control that. You can control your emotional filter in between, and you can control what you choose to believe in those thoughts. How you react to those thoughts. Christian, you suck. I'm just sucking right now because my fatigue is super high. Or, Christian, you suck, and yeah, you know what, I do suck because pretty much my whole life everyone's been doubting me. That's a lot different. You can see those, if I take that in two different ways, the behavior will change for a fact. So that's very important. So emotional filter. Build up your emotional intelligence vocabulary. That's my lesson for the day. Journeyman out. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.